Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into what honestly feels like real-life magic, one of nature's absolute most epic transformations. We're talking about the incredible, fascinating world of butterflies. Let's just jump right into it.
So, you've probably wondered at some point, how exactly does a squiggly little ground-dwelling bug manage to completely power up and turn into, well, a flying rainbow? I mean, it's one of the greatest mysteries in the animal kingdom, right? How does a tiny creature completely change its shape, its diet, and its whole way of life to totally master the sky? Well, we're going to break down exactly how that unbelievable transformation happens.
To really understand it, we're going to map out the journey through 4 magical stages, starting off as a tiny egg, growing into a hungry caterpillar, resting inside a magical chrysalis, and finally, emerging as a beautiful butterfly.
Let's kick things off with stage 1, the tiny egg.
Okay, so our story starts out incredibly small. The mother butterfly carefully lays a tiny egg, we're talking no bigger than a pinhead, right on the underside of a leaf. And she's actually super deliberate about this, picking a perfectly safe spot that's also going to serve as the ultimate first meal for the baby inside the moment it makes its debut.
And speaking of meals, when that baby finally hatches after a few days, guess what its very first snack is? Its own eggshell. Yeah, absolutely true. Before it even thinks about taking a bite of that leaf it's setting on, it completely recycles its own little home just to get those vital nutrients it absolutely needs to kickstart its massive growth spurt.
Which brings us right to stage 2, the very hungry caterpillar.
Out of that egg pops a tiny larva. We usually just call them caterpillars. And this squiggly little guy literally has one job, day and night: eat leaves and grow. They are essentially little eating machines. That's basically all they do. And all that nonstop munching, it helps them grow up to 100 times their original size in just a matter of weeks.
Now, check out this staggering number, 27,000. Some caterpillar species consume a mind-blowing 27,000 times their own body weight over their lifetime. Just let that sink in for a second. The reason they do this is because they need to stockpile massive amounts of energy for the huge transformation that's coming up next.
But here's the catch. Because they're growing so ridiculously fast from all that eating, their skin actually gets way too tight. It's kind of like outgrowing your clothes every couple of days. So, to deal with this, they have to shed their old skin 4 or 5 times in a process we call molting. They just leave the old, tight skin behind, and boom, underneath is a brand new, roomier skin that perfectly fits their rapidly expanding bodies.
Oh, and to power all that crawling around, remember, they don't have a single bone in their body. Caterpillars have a whopping 4,000 muscles. To put that into perspective, you and I only have about 600 muscles. Crazy, right? And nearly 250 of those caterpillar muscles are located right in its head, just to help it chomp through those tough leaves. They squeeze all these muscles to move forward, in this really cool wave-like motion.
Once the caterpillar is completely full and ready to level up, we enter stage 3, the magical chrysalis. This is the real turning point, folks. Metamorphosis. It's a massive science magic word derived from Greek that literally means a complete transformation or change in shape. During this stage, our little friend's body completely breaks down its old caterpillar cells and basically rebuilds itself into something totally new. And it uses all that stored up energy from the leaf buffet to pull it off.
So, how does it start? The caterpillar finds a safe, quiet spot, attaches itself to a twig with a little silk pad, and hangs upside down in a J shape. Then, it sheds its skin one final time. But this time, there's no soft caterpillar skin underneath. Instead, it reveals this hard, smooth, protective shell called a chrysalis. Inside this quiet little case is where the magic of metamorphosis really begins.
Now, I want to clarify something here because a lot of people mix this up. A butterfly makes a hard chrysalis out of its own skin. This is totally different from a moth. A moth actually spins a soft, silk blanket around itself, and that is what we call a cocoon. So, rule of thumb, if it's a smooth, hard shell, you are definitively looking at a future butterfly.
Finally, after spending a few weeks, or sometimes even months if they're waiting out a cold winter, resting and transforming in secret, the chrysalis splits open. Welcome to stage 4, the beautiful butterfly.
It is honestly hard to believe, but that crawling, leaf-munching bug we met just a few minutes ago has completely transformed. It traded in its squiggly body for long legs, long antennae, and of course, those massive, incredibly colorful wings.
But hold on, they can't just fly away immediately.
When they first emerge from the chrysalis, their wings are actually wet, soft, and folded up really tight against their bodies. So they have to hang upside down and slowly pump special fluids into those tiny scales to expand them. Only once the wings completely dry out and stiffen up is our new flying friend finally ready to take its very first flight.
And now that it's in its fully powered up adult form, let's talk about those amazing butterfly superpowers.
Seriously, these creatures have actual superpowers. First off, they literally taste their food by stepping on it. Yeah, they have taste sensors on their feet, which is exactly how they find the perfect flower. And their vision. It's so advanced, they can see hidden colors, including ultraviolet ones that we humans can't even perceive, just to guide them to the sweetest nectar. Once they locate it, they drink using a built-in, unrolling straw called a proboscis. Plus, they can flap those gorgeous wings about 5 times every single second to effortlessly dart through the air. Incredible.
So, the next time you're out in a garden or a park, keep your eyes peeled for this amazing 4-stage cycle. Look closely at the leaves for tiny eggs or hungry caterpillars. Check the twigs for a hidden chrysalis, and watch the skies. Because it really makes you wonder, could that tiny, seemingly insignificant speck on a leaf right in your own backyard be secretly preparing to become the ultimate master of the sky? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.